Hi guys, Sasha here today. I'm going to show you how to wind a center pull ball. So in case you don't have a ball winder at home, this is a great simple way to still wind a center pull ball so that your ball is not rolling all over the place and going crazy. I've set it up with a Swift, but you don't have to have that as either. This is just for the sake of demonstration. Normally at home I just do this. I pop my feet up on the coffee table and put my loop of yarn around and I go from there. So you're going to start by making an L shape with your thumb and forefinger, and then you're just going to lay the end of the yarn through your fingertips and up towards your wrist, and then grip it with the rest of your fingers. From there you're going to make a figure 8 shape with your, actually I'm going to go the other way, with your yarn around that L shape you've made. Now I just really like a center pull ball because it makes it easier to work with your yarn, and like I said, you're not chasing it all over the place. The hand winding is also good for some yarns that might be slubby or delicate or wouldn't otherwise work on a ball winder. Now once you get kind of your both thumb and forefinger filled up, you're going to start working around the outside of the ball. And you're going to keep your fingers in the middle of the ball. You also want to make sure that this tail doesn't get caught up in what you're winding, so sometimes I have to tuck it back inside my fist to make sure that it doesn't get wound up there. So now you're just going to go around the outside here, and then once you get a little ways, you can actually start to lay the wraps kind of at a diagonal. So I don't know if you can see that, but basically I'm going to start going diagonally across the ball and then just turning and working around. Now like I said, you want to keep the your thumb and forefinger in the middle of the ball for a while, just because that gives it space and it keeps you from winding it too tight. If you don't leave that space in the middle of the ball, you can sometimes end up with a ball that is just really, really too tight, and then the yarn is more likely to get tangled. So if you go one direction diagonally and it starts to fill up there, you can always start to change and go across the other diagonal here. And then once it gets to a certain point and you feel like you've got a pretty stable ball, you can pull your fingertips out of there and start winding it and turning it as you go. And this is where a lot of times people comment on the balls I wind being pretty neat and almost look like they've done it by machine, but part of it is just neatening it up and going a little bit at a time. Honestly, my Swift's a little bit too close here, but that's okay. See how I'm doing that? I'm going across and then turning and working around the ball. So I'm keeping that section where I had the tail sticking out at the very top center. Okay, so now I'm getting down to the very end of the ball. So I'm just going to finish my last couple of wraps. And then I'm going to take the last little bit of tail and I'm going to wind it around the center of the ball and tuck that last tail underneath a couple of those strands, and I'm good to go. So the other thing you can do is, if you don't want to, put your hank of yarn on your feet, or if you don't have a Swift, you can always put it around the back of a dining room chair and keep it from getting tangled. And this is just a great way to wind your ball up if you find that you don't have access to a winder. Or even when you do, sometimes I like to use this method and enjoy a little bit more time working with the yarn and get a little chance to see how it feels before I even start working with it. The other thing winding by hand can help you with is if you have a yarn that's prone to having knots or joins throughout. Certain kinds of yarns, there's no other way for them to do it, just like these chainette yarns. They have to just tie it on. It can't be spliced any other way, so it can help you spot those places before you're working with it in your knitting. You could either replace it with a magic knot or you know, cut it and do a separate ball so that you'll know you want to join that in a different way when you come to it in your work. So this yarn I used was this Espresso. It's a chainette blend yarn from Barocco, and it's actually the yarn featured in my newest pattern, the Airliner Cowl, which comes out this week if you're watching this in real time. So be sure to check that out. I'm also doing a pattern special for that launch, so buy 3 get 1 free all the way through December 10th of 2016. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!